we might actually be getting worked, so we're going to talk about it in this video. Also, a new Bryan Danielson interview. I really want to talk about everything he said. I want to also predict who the members will be for this new AEW faction. And then also, as you guys know, I cover Impact Wrestling, so we got to talk about this new match that is being announced for Sacrifice. If you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that subscribe button and ring the bell. This way you get notified on all the latest content right here on Angle YT. All right, guys. Impact Wrestling, man, has really been on a good path lately. I did a poll for Impact Wrestling No Surrender. 3,100 plus votes. 76% of you actually voted thumbs up. You enjoyed the special. I want to cover more Impact Wrestling on this channel. I was really happy with the way Impact has been booking this X Division. I've been going on Twitter every time Impact is on, and I'm typically praising Chris Bay and, of course, Mike Bailey, Speedball Mike Bailey, Trey Miguel, Jake something. They are really doing something special with this X Division, and it's starting to, like, look, don't get me wrong, it's not feeling like the old days, but in a way it's starting to feel reminiscent of that. There's something exciting happening in Impact Wrestling, and I think this is actually the most exciting part of their show. And now, through actual storytelling, they've presented us this match with Trey Miguel and Jake Something. So if you don't watch Impact, you may not understand the storylines that they've been building. Jake Something is now the #1 contender. And I just think they've been doing a really good job of building Jake Something into something more credible. It is actually really strange how good Impact has done with this. I'm really hoping Impact and AEW could really step it up with their working relationship, because this idea that maybe an AEW wrestler could eventually hold the X Division Championship is something that is really exciting to me, especially considering that there are so many great talented wrestlers in AEW. You got Dante Martin, who's doing something really incredible, but look, it's really up to them to make the relationship work. There's rumblings of them doing more Forbidden Door stuff, but just kind of keep that in mind. This X Division stuff is really exciting, and I would like to see more of it. My prediction is that Jake Something actually wins the X Division Championship. Let me know your prediction down below, and we'll discuss. All right, guys. Bryan Danielson on Throwing Down with Renee Paquette and Ryan McKinnell, discussing kind of what he thinks AEW wrestlers lack. And I thought this was a really interesting interview. To me, I think this is him in character, but a lot of what he's saying in character could be something that a lot of people actually agree with IRL. Now, I want to make this very clear. I am a huge fan of Bryan Danielson and his heel persona. So this idea that him and Moxley were actually going to start a faction opposed to starting a feud was really cool storytelling for me personally watching AEW. Now, basically, Danielson goes on to say that these kids today need to learn how to properly wrestle. That's my deal. AEW is great. It's not perfect in the way I would like it to be, and I'm sure the way John would like it to be. There's a little too much fooling around. He also goes on to say some stuff about Sammy Guevara, because Sammy Guevara is focused too much on his vlog and not focused enough on beating the crap out of somebody, which, I kind of disagree with that, because Sammy Guevara is the current TNT championship, but nonetheless, you kind of get my point. Look, here's the thing. Bryan Danielson's new faction with Jon Moxley is clearly about the younger talent. And I know this sounds absolutely crazy, but every faction does have a end point. I think there's, we saw the Shield breakup, we saw DX, we saw NWO. I mean, we saw them and they went away, right? And then they come back like years later and whatnot. With this new faction, I want to say that I think it actually should be a pretty short-lived faction. And I mean, I guess the term short is pretty relative, but I would say like no longer than a year. And the reason why is because I think Danielson and Moxley, and this would be very interesting, but if I'm predicting down the line, long-term storytelling, I would have Moxley and Bryan Danielson recruit Daniel Garcia and someone else, right? Maybe Lee Moriarty. Perfect example. Okay, we'll use these two because these two are the names that get brought up a lot in promo. Let's say, for example, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Lee Moriarty, and Daniel Garcia end up absolutely going crazy. Getting big wins, championship gold. I mean, everything is going well for them. A year from now, the way I would like to see things actually break off is Moxley and Danielson breaking off from the faction, becoming tag team champions, because I would love to see them just tag team. You know, it would be really cool to see them thrown around as a tag team in AEW, and then have them lose to somebody like Lee Moriarty and Daniel Garcia. This way, it's kind of like a passing of the torch thing. I think it would be really cool, because especially with the way AEW does long-term booking, things are very well thought out. If I'm AEW and I'm booking a long-term storytelling, I build this faction to new heights, great things, and then eventually after a year or so, hey, Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson are tired of these guys that they're building up getting more shine, getting more attention. Fans are loving it, right? But they start to forget about Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, so you know what? They completely turn heel, turn on the entire group, slap some respect out of these people. I think it could be very interesting television. Now, whether or not they will do that will be very interesting. And guys, our final story of the day, the Young Bucks, BTE. It's got people talking. It's got people thinking now more than ever this Cody Rhodes stuff is a work. The Young Bucks are trolling the fans. And it's not, you know, it's not unlikely that the Bucks will troll fans. Obviously, it's part of their gimmick. But if you've watched their backstage interviews with, with Complex, and when they go sneaker shopping and all of these different videos that you can actually find online, you know that the Young Bucks are all about working the crowd. And, you know, during BTE, there's this little segment where they're basically trying to address the elephant in the room, which is the Cody Rhodes thing, and they're building this up. They are literally talking about this. They're trolling the shit out of us, and next thing they're talking about like their luggages and their shoes. So they're never gonna get their shoes back. They're never gonna get their luggage back from American Airlines. But really, the entire segment is alluding to them discussing Cody Rhodes and addressing what's ever happening with Cody. Now, keep in mind, Cody Rhodes is also gone pretty dark on social media. But from the times that we've heard from Cody, he's talked about retirement, and then also now he's promoting the Go Big show or whatever it's called. So my point that I'm making is this whole thing with Cody Rhodes, man, I don't even know what to expect. We could very well be in worked right now. We could very well be like just, because at the end of the day, it's like WWE also teasing Cody, and you got Pat McAfee talking about Cody. And it just sounds like to me right now, as it stands, it kind of sounds like everybody is just trying to work everybody, dude. It is the most insane thing ever. But the Young Bucks are trolling fans. It starts to get me to lean a little bit more on whether or not this is a work. But who knows? Maybe things will change, and we'll find out, in a couple weeks or whatever. If I'm WWE, if I'm bringing in Cody Rhodes, I don't wait long, personally speaking. If Cody is actually in AEW and he stays in AEW and WWE has no chance to sign Cody Rhodes, if I'm WWE, I'm going to leak the fact, hey, we're not interested in Cody Rhodes. Like, you really want a wrestling war? That's how you do it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Is it a work? Is it not? Let me know. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.